Want to know why? Ask how. Howard the Humongous. There's a serious problem going on. Wait, let me get these headphones off. There's a serious problem going on in the Middle East right now. There's a small war. Israel is attacking Gaza. Over 100 civilians have been killed. And from the outside, and from the view you get from the press, the vision is of a mighty giant, Israel, swatting a mosquito with appalling force. That view is utterly false. Here's the reality. Israel is a tiny postage stamp of land. It's approximately 11,000 square miles. It's surrounded by Arab countries, all of whom have called at one time or another for Israel's total annihilation for the face of the earth, all of whom have called for genocide. For every Jew in Israel, there are 250 Arabs. That is a ratio of 250 Arabs to 1. That is not a winning formula. That is a difficult to survive formula. The Jews have 11,000 square miles of land. The Arabs have over 8 million square miles of land. The Jews have a territory equal to the size of New Jersey. The Arabs have a territory equal to the size of 2 United States. Now, what would happen if 2 United States, that's 99 states, declared war against New Jersey and made it a permanent policy to call for New Jersey's annihilation? What if they taught their school children that one of the primary objectives in a decent, just, and righteous life is the utter annihilation of New Jersey? New Jersey would not stand a chance against 2 Americas, the size of 2 Americas. That is what Israel is up against. You could fit 670 Israels in the territory of the Arab states. Israel consists of only 3 cities: Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, and Haifa. Hamas, which is in part a puppet of Tehran, a puppet of Iran, has 10,000 missiles, 10,000 rockets. And it has demonstrated in the last few weeks that those rockets can finally reach Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, and just a short distance south of Haifa. Within a short amount of time, their rockets, Hamas's rockets, will be able to reach Haifa too. When their rockets can reach Haifa, despite Israel's brilliant Iron Dome system, its defense system, its anti-incoming rocket system, Hamas will be in a position to do what it has told every tiny little school child is their major objective in life. Here's a bit of what Hamas teaches its school children. Allah is your goal. God is your goal. That makes sense, especially if God is kindly. But God, the God of Allah, Allah the God, is unfortunately not a kind God. The prophet is your model. Okay, if the prophet was a nice guy, why didn't we all model our life on him? The Quran is your constitution. And here's the killer. Jihad is your path. And death for the sake of Allah is your most coveted desire. The Israelis have been trying to prevent civilian deaths. They have been phoning houses that they are about to hit with a bomb. And they have been asking the residents to leave. But instead, residents in many cases, and non-residents, people off the street, have come rushing to the stairwells, gone up the stairwells to the rooftops, and been there specifically so that if the Israelis struck, first of all, they would have, the people standing on the roof, would have the kind of death that Hamas tells them is the most glorious thing on earth, your most coveted desire. Why? Because death, fighting for Allah against an infidel, is an instant ticket to paradise. And life on earth is short, but paradise is forever. So paradise counts a hell of a lot more than your life in this earthly body. This is what Israel's up against. In addition, Hamas has made a point of putting all of its weapons in highly populated places, in apartment buildings, in hospitals, in schools, in mosques, specifically so that every Israeli strike against a legitimate military target, against a weapons base, a rocket launcher, would produce as many civilian casualties as possible. Why? Because wars are not just won on the ground. Wars are won in the headlines of the world. And every time a civilian is killed, the world cries out against the killer. The goal of Hamas has been, to make the Israelis kill as many civilians as possible, so that ultimately the Israelis would lose the war in the headlines. Is Israel in a position to simply sit back, have a truce, and let Hamas continue to acquire new weapons? No, because by acquiring 10,000 weapons from the Iranians, some of them are built by Syrians, Hamas has already gotten to the point where it can reach 2 of the 3 major cities of Israel and within just a short distance of the 3rd city. If it's allowed to continue to accumulate new weapons, those weapons will reach every single one of those cities. Now, every Iron Dome rocket, the rockets that the Israelis use to protect themselves against incoming missiles from Hamas or Hezbollah, cost $61,000. Launch 100 of those, and I can't even do the arithmetic. It's $6 million worth or something of the sort. Be forced to launch 1,000 of them to protect yourself, and you're talking about the kinds of money that the American military budget can afford, but that Israel, a country of 6 million Jews, cannot afford. A city, this is a country smaller than most of the world's great cities. It is half the size of just one Islamic city, Cairo. And that one Islamic city is a city in just one of 57 Islamic nations. And all of those nations, in one way or another, are against Israel and want its annihilation. Where are the weapons coming from? Iran. It is not even an Arab country. It is a non-Arab Islamic country. And yet Iran has an annual holiday calling for the extermination of Israel. It is called Quds Day. This is a genocidal war, but the genocide is directed against 6 million Jews by a total of 420 million Arabs. And Hamas's missiles are not the only genocidal missiles that Israel faces. Iran has supplied Hezbollah with over 40,000 rockets. That's Hamas on the southern border of Israel and Hezbollah on the northern border of Israel. It's the equivalent of more than 2 United States trying to annihilate a New Jersey. If those 2 United States decided to do so, they could do so in an instant. And the annihilation of Israel and the killing of all of its Jews is almost a religious goal stamped into the soul of nearly every child in the 57-nation, 13,500-mile wide world of Islam. Dar el-Islam, pitted against Dar el-Harb, the home of Islam, versus the home of the foreigner, the home of the non-believer, the home of war. And what happens to Israel will eventually happen to you and me. This is Howard the Humongous, speaking to you from the future. It's your job and my job to make, or, want to know why? Ask how. Okay, now for the infinitely tricky off button. Oh my God, it's under wires. I've got it.